So I'd covered all three sides of the Angolan Civil War, but in the north I went in with one pro-Western faction that had hired British mercenaries. And I was in the town with the British mercenaries, last town held by this group, and the Cuban-backed Angolan forces moved in to this town, which is on the mouth of the Congo River where it meets the Atlantic, and there was no way out. So everyone raced down to the river, and I mean, this is flows right into the ocean, so it was not like little stream of river. This is mighty Congo River, and there was a terrible storm, and there was only a little tugboat by the dock, and so it's a town of 350 people, and everybody was trying to get hang on to this little tugboat that was so small it made the African Queen, if you've ever seen the Humphrey Bogart movie, look like a riverboat cruiser. I mean, this little tugboat was tiny, and from the weight of the humans trying to grab onto it, it capsized. I was in the tiny little cabin, and we all went into the drink, and by that point the forces were on the beachfront, on the shore, firing at us in the middle of the storm. So people on both sides of me got hit, went down, pools of blood were everywhere. It was awful. And the mercenaries eventually got the tugboat uprighted, and it set off under fire across the mouth of the river to the Congo. And out of 350 people, only 22 of us made it out alive. So there were a lot of close calls.
Yikes! Wow. So I guess, how do you process something like that? I mean, how do you reflect on that and sort of understand what just happened?
Well, some of them are like out-of-body experiences, to be honest with you. When you look back on them, I did a prison stint in Angola because I went back to the capital to cover the trial of the mercenaries who were captured at that town, and ended up the government wanted me to be a witness against them, and I said, I'm an observer, not a participant. I have a visa as a journalist. You can introduce my articles, but I'm not part of this process. And because I refused to testify, they put me in jail, interrogated me, and so forth. That's another long story. But
how long were you in Angola jail for?
Long enough. And anyway, so every time this happens to me, I say, I'm not doing this anymore. I should learn my lesson. I've had enough. My body's been battered and bruised, and I've been scared out of my mind, and I always think this is the last time. And I keep doing it, and I think it goes back to the fact that I love history. I'm witnessing history as it happens. It's such a privilege. I'm a little girl, an absolute nobody from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I've had access to some of the most notorious and famous people in the world. I've traveled with almost every president since Jimmy Carter and every Secretary of State since Henry Kissinger. I've interviewed Idi Amin and Muammar Gaddafi, and I've also traveled with the Pope and interviewed Nelson Mandela. So I've seen, it's been a great adventure of my life.